What's going on, guys? Matt here. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. Today we are looking at a really interesting knife, the CJRB Feldspar. Really good looking knife with that natural G10, and we'll get into what I like, what I dislike, and something unique about this knife. First of all, I want to remind you guys to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for keeping up with the content. Apologies that it has been so long since I've posted a knife review. I kind of checked out my channel a few days ago, and I'm like, wow, it's been over a month since I reviewed that. I think it was the Cold Steel Mini Pendleton Hunter. Anyway, I'll try to be more consistent with the reviews, but today we're checking out this CJRB Feldspar. So let's do some size comparisons, then we'll talk about what the specs, we'll talk about what I like, what I dislike, and something unique. There might be something I don't mind in there as well. So, CJRB Feldspar. Let's compare it to, let's go a classic kind of tactical knife. Cold Steel Recon 1. So a little bit more blade length, a little bit more handle length on the Feldspar. All right, let's look at it and compare it to another CJRB, the CJRB Craig. So similar profiles. And you see this in a lot of CJRBs. They are either like 3.5-inch blades or they're like a 3-inch blade. There's not a ton of variation from what I've seen anyway. Let me know if you guys have seen much variation. Let's look at it in comparison to the Boker Cataclysm. This is a really cool knife. My wife got this for me for my birthday, and it's awesome. It's a really cool knife. Look at how thick that blade is for how small a knife it is. I just think that's fun. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. But I think it's a really cool looking knife. All right, and then one more. We'll do a fixed blade. I just got this in the mail, and I'm loving it. The Lion Steel, what is this? T5, right? I think this is T5, yeah, because the M5 is smaller, yeah, so this is a Lion Steel T5. Really just love that pattern right there, that single piece of, not G10, but micarta, really cool. Nylock steel, haven't used it a whole lot, heard good things about it though. Kind of a D2 variant. Speaking of D2, that brings us into the specs. So, the CJRB Feldspar has a 3.5-inch blade of D2 steel. Overall is 8.125 inches. The blade is 0.13 inches thick. Has a stonewash finish, as you can see. Nice stonewash finish as well. Kind of a drop point design with a really high saber grind, looks like. It is a liner lock. It weighs 4.14 ounces, and to pick this up, you're looking at about 30 to 40 bucks. They were on sale for on Amazon for like 28 bucks. It was a great deal. That's why I picked this up. So let's talk about what I like. So, guys, the price for materials on this, with these companies, specifically CJRB, they just knock it out of the park with these blades and the prices. You know, you're looking at about 30 bucks for a knife that has actual D2 steel. You know, people talk about these overseas produced companies and it actually not being D2 steel. This is definitely D2 steel. It holds its edge very well. I'm constantly shocked at how cheap D2 is now because it's just a great tool steel, and it holds its edge very, very well. So yeah, just the price is fantastic for G10 skeletonized liners. As you can see, D2 steel, really, really smooth, just butter smooth pivot. You know, it's just the price is fantastic for the materials used here. So I also really love this high saber grind. I think this is fantastic because it blends kind of toughness and rigidity with a very, very high grind that allows for good slicing. This blade is just awesome. I think this is fantastic. It's not too thick, not too thin. The tip isn't too thin. You know, it's not going to break off on you, but it's also not going to be terribly stout like something like the Recon 1, because it's not meant for you know, ultimate toughness. I just love that grind, and I think it slices beautifully. I think it's awesome. Along with the blade as well, this stonewashing is really nice. It's just consistent. It doesn't look splotchy. It doesn't look cheap. It's just a well-done stonewashing. In the action, I know we mentioned this before, but I just want to let you guys listen to this. It just, I think the word that people have been using in the forums is the acoustics, which I think is kind of funny. I'm a musician. I've been playing guitar for 16 odd years or something. And, you know, the acoustics in a room are kind of how good that room sounds, pardon me, and how it's going to sound when you're singing in it or playing an instrument in it. I just think that it's funny that that's used to describe a knife of all things. So, but the action and just the noises it makes, it sounds satisfying. It sounds high quality. I really like that. The lockup is also just very tough. You know, with a knife this smooth, you think that the lockup might be loose and that's what it's allowing for, you know, a smooth pivot. Not at all. There's zero movement. Just it feels very solid. So well done, CJRB, on the lockup. And a couple more things. So I think this handle is outstanding. It's not terribly grippy G10. You know, it's not super smooth either. I've felt smoother, maybe not smoother G10, but I felt smoother handle materials, that is. And it's relatively smooth. But what I love about it is it doesn't have any finger grooves. So you see this CJRB Craig, right? It's relatively comfortable, but as you can see, and I had this issue with the Spyderco Endura, when I grab it, you know, that groove just locks right into the middle of my middle finger, so it's not very comfortable. I have to consciously grab it, you know, kind of further back, and that's not really how I want to hold this knife. I don't love finger grooves. You know, some index really well, like these index really well, and this is quite comfortable for me, but you're kind of, you know, knife companies are kind of taking a risk when using finger grooves because it just might not index with everyone's fingers correctly. This does a fantastic job. It's just a nice gentle swoop. Has this one groove right here. No matter how big or small your hand is, that's where your pointer finger is going to go. And there's no like sharp cutoff right here, right? There's a tiny bit of one, but there's no super sharp cutoff to where it's going to be uncomfortable even if your fingers don't index correctly. So I just think this handle, other knife companies pay attention. This is how you do a knife handle. You can contour a knife handle without making super pronounced finger grooves and making it terribly uncomfortable. I've even thought about, you know, kind of, you know, I might do this and I'm really considering it. I like this Craig, but sanding that down, maybe even turning this into a drop point, because cleavers are, I don't know. I don't get the whole cleaver concept in an EDC knife. I don't understand it. So, but sanding that down and, you know, sanding that down, maybe just using this as a modding knife because I got it for so cheap. So, but yeah, fantastic job on the Feldspar. Just, this is how you make a comfortable contoured handle. And it still locks in your hand, even though it's not terribly grippy. So just love this handle. And the last thing I do like is the pocket clip. It's just great. CJRB does such a great job with their pocket clips. It's essentially the same one on every knife, and I won't complain about that because it's great. It's deep carry. You have the screws easily accessible. No issues whatsoever. I wish more companies would just do something simple like this. It's not that difficult to make a pocket clip like this. It's just very simple. So those are the things I like about the CJRB Feldspar. So let's go on to what I don't mind. It's just one thing, and it's the lack of jimping. Now, it's nothing wrong with the knife, so it's not something I'd say I don't like because, you know, it's not on the knife. But jimping, just some gentle jimping right there would really lock your hand in. And because this G10 isn't terribly grippy, again, I'm not worried about this coming out of my hand, but it would have been really nice to just have a little bit of jimping to really lock your hand in. And I think that would have kind of made it more useful in a, let's say, a defensive role. Don't have any experience with that. Again, you guys know that, but you know, you want to be able to hold on to your blade, I would assume anyway. So I would have liked to have seen jimping. I think that would have been cool and it would have really locked your hand in. So what don't I like about the knife? Guys, I can't think of anything. I really can't. Whatever color you get in this blade, like this comes in a smaller version with a 3-inch blade. It comes in multiple different colors. There's really pretty blue handles. I want to say I've seen red, just many different colors. Whatever you get, it's just a fantastic blade. There's nothing I can find wrong with this design off the top of my head. Let me know what you guys think, if you think there is something specifically wrong with this blade. I just think the thumb studs, everything is, you know, thumb studs, the pocket clip, the liner lock, the contoured handle, the skeletonized liners, the steel, the blade design, everything's just great. So fantastic job, CJRB. This is what I want to see more from you guys. You know, they have some awesome designs, many more I'd like to get my hands on. CJRB, if you're watching this, feel free to send me some knives. I'd love to review them. I just think they're doing a great job, and what they're doing for the knife community is producing some really high quality knives at good prices, and I just think that's awesome. Guys, what's unique? So I just think, and I kind of touched on it just earlier, it's just a good high quality knife without finger grooves, right? Which is funny because, you know, it's hard to find knives that don't have finger grooves. A lot of them just have these very, folding knives have these very pronounced finger grooves. And for someone who has kind of unconventionally chunky hands, boy, can it ruin a knife. It can make me really not want to carry a knife. So I think that that's unique. As funny as it sounds, it's just a high quality knife that's inexpensive that doesn't have these hokey finger grooves in it. So would I recommend it? Absolutely, of course. I think it's a great knife, fantastic buy. If you can still get it at that like $28 mark, go for it. It's just a great deal and a knife that will last you for a long time and will be fun to kind of fidget with also being plenty tough and have great edge holding capabilities. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.